Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Spotlight Podcast, the developer and creator interview series by Boss Rush Network. I am your host, Stephanie Klimov. I'm so happy to be back to provide a bunch of interviews for all of you. Today, we have a very special guest from Starvania, their creative director, Muslih Alzahrani. Hello, nice to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Nice to have you as well. Hello.
So just a little background about your game studio, feel free to add, but a quick intro for our listeners. Starvania is an indie game development studio based in Saudi Arabia, whose latest game, Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree, released May 8th, so just about a month ago, and were featured at PAX East 2025. Congratulations, by the way, on the game's release.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a journey. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, for sure. I don't know if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit and your role on the dev team.
Yeah, of course. So Muslih Alzahrani again. I'm creative director and also co-founder for Starvania Studio based in Saudi. We started about three years ago, like back in 2022. And when we started, we were like four people just trying to make the dream game, right? And the dream studio. Back then, we were only four, so each person was taking multiple roles. Me, I was responsible for in charge for game design slash like game directing for Bahamut. And then as we developed through the game and went through the game, we joined a lot of accelerator programs and incubators until we were able to get some grants and funding for the studio. And it's when we hired a couple more developers in the team, right? We got more talents. And that's when I was more focused on game directing and just a little bit of game design, but I was a game designer. We had a game design lead, right? Another one. So yeah.
Awesome, great, thank you. We'll definitely dive more into that. Well, no pun intended. But some fast about the game. So Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree is a 2D adventure game focusing on some tight underwater gameplay, interwoven with inspirations from Arabian and Middle Eastern mythology. You must dive into an immersive underwater realm named Ma'in. As you explore the cosmic sea, you strive toward restoring the light and from the unbalanced darkness. How'd I do?
Yes,
It's hard to
you're
capture a
doing
game in a
great.
sentence. Thank you.
Yeah.
But to break the ice, and before we talk more about it, I'd like to get to know you a little bit better with some rapid fire questions that I like to call the gauntlet. So,
Yeah.
as an indie team, having multiple roles, you need a lot of energy to get through that workday. What do you usually drink, like coffee, tea, to kind of keep you energized?
So it's funny because if you asked me this a couple days ago, I would say energy drinks all the
Mhm.
way. Like my refrigerator is filled with Monster energy drink. But just a couple days ago, me and my friend we decided to like cut on sugar and just. So yeah, I'm right now. I just have my water next to me, and yeah, I'm cutting. But I need the alternative. I don't know.
Good for
Yeah.
you. I mean, I used to drink Monster and Red Bull a lot, and then I had to cut back. I wasn't given a choice, but I will save it for late nights, like when I podcast on the Boss Rush podcast. Um, it's hard though because I grew up drinking tea in my household, green tea, oolong tea, as is, and that's supposed to have caffeine in it already. So maybe my body just got used to it because if I have tea now, it does nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But okay. When are you most productive in your work? Are you a morning person or are you a night owl?
Uh, so it really depends on the work. But I think I mainly do night work. It's usually more peaceful. Everyone is asleep, less distractions from everyone. I don't get messages or anything. So
Mhm.
I think it's. I think I'd go with the. I'm a night owl person. So
Got you.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it's good that you're flexible, and that does, lead me to a question about your team. So, do you guys have a specific work schedule you follow, or is it more of, hey, we'll get work done when we need to get done, and then we'll meet when we need to meet?
Yeah, we mainly do work in the morning, right, from 10 a.m. Saudi time
Mhm.
until 4 to 5 p.m. Saudi. But we're kind of flexible in terms of, so we have the morning for stand up, right? Everyone is joined for 30 minutes to 1 hour just to get a brief of how is everyone doing, where they're at, what are they working on today, if there's any struggles or anything, they can just say it, so we get to look into that together. And
Mm,
we set up meetings during the day with the team. So if there is something needed between two members and stuff like that, we have that time. And then you would know your task during today, right? So
mhm.
whenever you want to finish it, unless there's a deadline, of course. Whenever
Yes.
you want to finish it, and then you're good to go. So yeah, we're I think in this way we're flexible. Plus, it's a remote work, so we
Yes.
really don't go to a location at the time. We just work remotely. So
Okay. Well, seems like you have a good balance, right? It is very flexible, but you guys have like a certain protocol whenever things need to get done. So that's nice.
yeah.
Um, what is your like preferred gaming genre? Like whenever you do have time to game, I'm sure maybe now you have some free time, but do you have like favorite types of games you like to play?
Yeah. So I usually do, if I'm playing with friends, I do multiplayer shooting games.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm bad at it as I grow up, and I'm old now. But I think yeah, that or just any casual games. Recently, I played Ship of Fools. It's a
Oh,
co-op
okay.
couch game. I play it with my roommate. We do that, and it's a very cool game. So yeah,
Nice. Yeah, I thought about trying some, first person shooter or multiplayer, and that stuff moves more like faster than I can think these days, so
yeah.
I'll leave it
I
to the
mean,
young kids.
I give up. Like when someone is behind me shooting me, I just wait to die and then come
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
So I do that. I still have fun. I don't know.
There you go. That's all that matters. You're right. Just don't
Yeah.
fight it.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this time old question? And I tend to keep this question for all my interviews because my son and I get into this debate all the time. But who is the superior Mario brother? Mario or
I
Luigi?
saw this question earlier and I came prepared. Da 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 da.
Team Luigi! All right.
Yay!
See, I knew you were cool. I'm Team Luigi all the way. All right.
All right,
You
that's great.
answered wisely. All right,
Yeah.
excellent. Well, I think we're in a really good place. We don't need to exhaust you yet. So, and I'm just excited to talk about the game. So, um, again, congratulations on the release of Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree. How has it been since reception? How does it feel releasing a game? I did take a peek at Steam, and you guys are very positive on Steam with your reviews so far.
Yeah. I mean, the reception has been great, and that's been throughout the whole development cycle, right? Not
Mhm.
just in the release. And that's because we've been doing some casual game testing with the community throughout our Discord server, and we just put the game and let people test and showcase into multiple events. We put the game with the latest things, anything we put in the game, and that's been helpful for us to see how's the perception is going, if everything is in the game is like understood. Do people understand what we have without any context, right? So we put it in we put the demo out, and then see how players receive it without giving them many input, just to see if they understand it, if it's good to go and whatnot. And so far it's been good. I mean, even the like receiving negative feedback has been helpful for us as well. Like we interpret it to see what does that mean. So what exactly don't they understand? What exactly did they not like? What got them struggling through to the gameplay or frustrated in the game? So we've been tackling those throughout the game development. So that's been helpful, and yeah, it's reflected in the Steam reviews. Although many of the Steam reviews are our family and friends, uh,
Yeah, we'll get
but
more of them on there. We're gonna
yeah,
spread the
yeah,
word.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
No, I'm glad you explained that, and I am pretty sure not everyone can do this, especially the larger companies. But the more I get to talk to indie devs, the fact that they engage the community a lot more during the build in Discord, I feel like it only helps you guys put out a better product at the end, you know? And
yeah,
I give kudos to you for seeing the positive in the negative feedback because you could just go, oh, they're just being, maybe some of them are just being haters, but you know what I'm saying? Like you take it and you try to do something good with it.
yeah,
Um, I know it can be kind of tough. So I think that's great that you use it as a means to kind of improve your game further.
yeah.
Speaking of feedback, so I got to, for those that are listening, I'm sure you guys saw it in my articles. I got to play the demo of Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree at PAX East. I stopped by the yeah, soft source. It's a lot of S's. And I got to, learn about the game while playing it. I don't know if more of the Starvania team was there or not, or if it was just primarily soft source. But I just want to say, like, overall, how was the PAX East experience been? And then after that, I'll talk about my demo that I played.
Yeah, the experience was great in PAX. I mean, it was my second time in the US.
Hmm.
First time was in San Francisco. We went to GDC and Bucket Gamer,
Hmm.
and then this is the second time, and it's in PAX. It was great. Like everyone is there, waiting in line, want to play games, and that's it, right? It's like I think games is a universal language, right? Everyone,
Hmm.
we don't need to speak the same language. We don't
Yes.
need to have the same beliefs and whatnot. It's just games, right? And we understand that. And it's been great. I see people, like a lot of the people who's been in packs, they were in groups. Um, and then when they're walking towards something, and then the huge moment, the fun moments for me, when one of the group members look at the game and they're moving away, they're saying like, "Oh, I could play that game. I want to play that game," and they are pointing towards our game. And then I just give them the controller or like a card
Yeah.
to look for to know more about the game, and that's been great. Yeah,
Yeah. By the way, I see that you're wearing a PAX East shirt. I should have worn mine too, but very nice. So is that
yeah,
that being in the US only twice, this is your first time in Boston, of course, right?
yeah.
Because the other place I think was San Francisco, you said?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So just I now I have to ask because I got a lot of Boston pride, and East Coast has been known to be very different vibe than West Coast. And you can be honest, like what were your thoughts about Boston?
Honestly, it's been great. I went out to see the city and towards the
Hmm.
last 2 days after PAX, and I think we went to, what do you call it? I think there was a line that you get to walk, and it has the names of the
Oh,
people who died during. I forgot the name of the
yes.
place.
It's the Freedom
That
Walk, yes.
Freedom Walk. Yes, exactly. It was nice. I mean, like walking through it, I felt the people. It's so memorial.
Mhm.
So we went to two parks, I think known ones, and
Mhm.
it was great. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I went to places in San Francisco as well, and I had fun there as well. But the people in PAX were more friendly to what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, I
San
don't want to.
Francisco. Just kidding.
No, I mean, I met a lot of friends
Yeah.
in San Francisco as well. And we're still talking today till today. So it's they're great. I'm not saying,
I'm
but yeah,
teasing. I'm teasing.
okay, yeah,
No, but I'm glad you felt welcome. I love the city. I like it because it's not too big and there's a lot of history, but there's a lot of
yeah,
personality.
yes,
But
yeah,
enough about that. So yeah, as I mentioned, I played the demo at PAX East, and I'm not just saying it, but I had a lot of fun,
that's
chatting
great.
and getting to learn the history while I'm playing it. And I made this comment while I was playing the demo was, most gamers, if you tell them that the game or a level in the game will take place underwater, a lot of them might get that knee-jerk reaction of, "Ooh, that's not gonna be fun to play." Now, granted, I'm sure those are just memories of, like, the water temple from Ocarina of Time when maybe water physics wasn't really that great, but I have to say, and I to this day, I still believe it was very fluid. I could tell there was that attention to, you know, prioritizing gameplay, making sure the gameplay is smooth and enjoyable, and then build around it, which we'll get to with regards to the cultural references. But
Yeah.
it just felt smooth. I just wanted to like glide and circle around instead of just running from place to place. Like I had a really wonderful time just moving through the water. So I just wanted to put that out there that you guys did a fantastic job with that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's the core of the game, right? You're playing it
Mhm.
underwater. We want to make each moment great, and that's just by moving around, discovering, exploring the possibilities of the controls.
Mhm.
And there, it's very simple. It's so easy to grab the controller and walk around. You just get it. It's never frustrating in that regards. And we spend a lot on. We did not have any art in the game. We did not have any sounds in the game. We did have. We only had a square. I can share with you a footage later.
Oh,
Uh,
I think it was shown to me. Yeah, like it was like
right.
a couple weeks in development. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I know
And
exactly what you're talking
and
about.
we only it was like that for a lot of like 2 months, right? It's just
Mhm.
square, and if it's not fun, no matter what art you put in, it won't be
Yes.
as fun, right? And we just kept it at that. We tuned until we had fun playing with a square box. That's what matters. I one time I forgot that I was controlling a box, and I played for like 30 minutes just jumping off water and moving on water, and it's just a box. And once we got that feel, then
Mhm.
it's kind of a proof of concept and validation that this can be fun. We
Mhm.
then transition and we put in the story, we put in the visuals and like the players feedback and stuff like that, but it was just game feel and controls. That's like gameplay, that's all.
Mhm.
When we started, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely the effort definitely reflects in there. It because same thing with like flying almost. A lot of us, especially when we're young, we always have the fantasy like, oh, if we could, I don't know, swim like whatever creature we'd imagine ourselves to be, whether it's mermaids or any other lore that we grew up with. And this kind of like gives almost us that little bit of a fantasy feeling if we could just leap out of the water and swim around and be free. Or maybe that's just me. I could just be weird.
It's not just you, I mean, we feel that. Yeah.
So, if we dial it back a little bit to the Starvania's original origin story, so to speak, how did you guys, as a co-founder, come to create video games? Because I noticed you guys do have a couple games in your catalog thus far.
Yeah. So before we grouped up as a
Mhm.
team, we joined multiple programs. One of which is like a program called Game Changers, and it was running by the Ministry of Communication and DigiPen Institute of Technology. I'm sure it's. I think it's known in like in the U.S. and other places. So DigiPen, while we are in that program, we used to be in groups, make some games together, and then we mix up in different groups. So during the program, me and my co-founder Miad, we were in multiple groups. So we made a lot of games. One of which is Blood Moon and Hot Potato and other games as well. And it's been fun, right? And after the program, we decided, you know what? We share same vision. We share same. We play the same games, and we have fun towards a similar thing. And we want to deliver similar experiences to the players. So we decided to create the studio, right? Starvania. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's how we started. So we had a lot of games before. We did a lot of learnings, and then it
Mm.
was Bahamut time to shine, I guess.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
that makes a great transition because I was about to ask, what are some notable differences in your experience when making previous titles like Blood Moon and Lights Out compared to this probably your bigger
Yeah.
prized project maybe?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's honestly it's quite different because the previous project, I was just going to making games professionally. Before that, it was just a hobby during my education years. I'm an industrial engineer, so very far away from gaming. Um, not that far, but far
Still,
enough from
yeah.
gaming. Yeah, and so it was not very professional for me until we decided to go into some programs. And the making of other games was, we were very small groups of people, right? Team members of 3 to 4. Like managing those is easier, right? Communication with others takes time, validation, discussions, stuff like that. In a small team, it's usually easier, and you get to understand each other quicker. But in a bigger scoped games, that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of understanding, and a lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideas, and every person like in the team sees the game differently, right? They imagine the game differently, and then your job is to kind of align and try to
Mm.
direct and
Uh-huh.
shift and like shape. And maybe they have a good idea, a great idea, and it's great, but it might not fit your direction, right? And how
Mm.
do you shape that to fit your game? um, so you have to do that for a lot of longer period of time. So
Mm.
it's not been easy, but it's been rewarding. And I think we got a lot of learnings towards from Bahamut itself. So prior to
Mm.
that, we got a lot of learning from the previous games, and Bahamut taught us a lot. And
Mm.
I'm looking forward to the next projects with our
Right.
amazing team, because the team, like, they shaped what Bahamut is today, and we learned a lot
Yes.
together. And we're gonna use the learnings we had from
Mm.
Bahamut to the next project as well. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely, growth with each step. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So next back to maybe the main character that you play as, very unique from in style. Could you dive into the design and inspiration behind the character that you play as?
yeah. So the character is, I mean, it looks like a mermaid, as you mentioned
Mm.
prior to that, and it's really a mythical creature. It's called Tabib al-Bahr, Tabib al-Bahr in Arabic. It translates to doctor of the sea in English, right? And it's Arabian mythological creature, and it's in the name. It is a doctor of the sea. It fixes and it heals the sea. And that's something we are doing in our game. You're kind of restoring the balance of the ocean and the seas. So after like darkness and like corruption is taken over, you're kind of purifying it. And that's something you see in every level of the game. Obviously, when we started, it was not the case. It was still Doctor of the Sea, but it was more action. So he had a lot of fighting mechanics and stuff like that. It looked so different from what it is today in terms of
Mm.
like character design. But with time and with development, we got our character, the shape, even the tail. It looks like a paint, right? Because later on in the
Oh,
game,
okay.
yeah, you get to drawing mechanics, right? So you draw underwater and stuff like that. So even the tail, it has this
Mhm.
paint shape
Like the brush
because
tip,
your
yeah.
brush, yeah. So you got it kind of get to, because you're drawing underwater, so you're kind of drawing with your tail as you move, right? So
Mhm.
that's kind of how it is right now, and the design philosophy and that character.
Oh, so you mentioned that in the beginning designs you were considering like combat, right, with the character.
Yeah,
Um, what, I mean, I'm sure this could be a much longer conversation, but what led you to kind of shift gears to maybe a less combative style
yeah,
overall?
yeah. So as I mentioned, when we started, just was focusing on the game
Hmm.
feel and
Yeah.
very smooth water movement, and it's a soothing experience, right? And as we did some combat mechanics and had the enemies and like the boss fights, some points in the game you get opposing feelings, and it's at some points it is breaking the experience that we're getting. Um, some of it is like more technical and a lot of design and a lot of feelings. Those who were picking the game uh, have fun at the beginning, and they just want to move around, they just want to enjoy the environment, and then when there is a combat, they don't know how to play, or they struggle a bit because they're used to, they thought it's a soothing experience, right? It's not fighting, or
I
so
see.
it was a lot of issues. One is like perception, people
Hmm.
thinking it's a soothing experience, and then a lot of technical aspects and stuff like that. And obviously, the scope of the game was huge, right? And as it's our first commercial game, I would say, uh, we wanted to, it's best for us to deliver something
Hmm.
that is good more than to deliver something that is big that might be half good, right?
Half
um,
baked. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that led to the decision of scoping
Mm-hmm.
down. We still have the feeling of the good like soothing experience and stuff like that. So what can we do with it? Then we decided to go with a puzzle approach that is linear, and then we asked ourselves, so what is unique about our game? And it is when we decided to go with the drawing abilities and
Mm-hmm.
mechanics, which complements the player's movement, right? Because as you're moving around and having fun, you get to paint, right?
Hmm.
And I think we got lucky, but those complemented each other very well. And that was great and beneficial for the game and how it turned out to be.
Okay. And I appreciate you explaining that to me because on one hand, I like myself a good combat, but I feel that it's noticeable in some games that feel like they're forced in there or shoehorned in there.
Yeah.
And a game can still be good without proper combat. And, I can just say from my experience with the demo and those who may not, who are still not sure if they want to buy this game yet, I'm sure there's still a demo, right? Like the demo's not,
So we
like the
took
demo.
it out, but it's coming
Okay.
back soon for
Okay.
the Summer Fest on Steam, right?
All right,
So yeah.
great. So, but just to speak from experience, there's still some sense for sure of like imminent danger. You still need to, keep the light around you and protect yourself. So, if someone's still looking for, that tension, there's still definitely that tension in the game. So, I think you guys married that very well. So, even though you knew that maybe combat might not be the best for this game and took a more puzzle-based approach, there's still definitely a sense of like emergency. It's still a soothing game, but just there's still danger that needs to be avoided. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
all right. Well, I know I keep going back and forth, but now I want to revisit the, Middle Eastern folklore. Again, that's one of those things that I just couldn't stop. I couldn't shut up about it at PAX because I know everyone's different, but I'm the kind of person that I gravitate toward any game that has any sort of folklore, mythology, culture, especially ones that maybe are not as represented as like really easy ones, or well, I don't want to call them easy. Sorry. I just, like you see anything Egyptian culture, which is great, but a lot of people know about it. Greek mythology, a lot of people know about it. So anytime I see something that I haven't seen a lot of, I immediately gravitate toward it. And again, I know you focused, gameplay first, but please, like, this would be the platform for you to like let listeners know what type of folklore you guys use and also like how you make the judgment of how you want to use your game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, we're looking at it the same way, right? There's a lot of folklore, mythological game out there, and they're all great. I love them. I like to play them. It's always great to see them from different games because it's always perceived differently from the minds of the creator and developer. For us, it was Arabian mythologies, right? And at the time, one of the team members, she's also into mythologies and folklore. And that she said, "Do you guys know that Bahamut is Arabian myth?" Right? It all started with that, and it was for me at the time. I didn't know. I don't. I did not look at. I'm from Saudi, but I never looked at Arabian folklore. Right? It just did not get to me. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but at the time, she said that, and then we're like, "What? We have that? And isn't it from Final Fantasy? Like everyone knows?"
Like a
Isn't
dragon? Yeah.
isn't it a dragon? So it all started from that moment, but we were still early on in the development, so we were like, all right,
Mm,
so we'll just call the game Bahamut, and that's it, right? We're not gonna look into. We can do the we did the research and we looked more into what Bahamut is and stuff like that. She was giving us presentations and into how it looks like and where it's coming from originally and stuff like that. But we were still focusing more on the gameplay. And with time, we learned more about Bahamut. We learned more about Tabib al Bahar. We learned more about Falak, the sea serpent, and
mhm,
many other mythologies. And then we're like, we got all this mythologies, but they're not in games. No game has it, right? And it's all different from culture to culture. Like they see Bahamut as a dragon, and it's originally coming from the Middle East, but it's not a dragon. It's a whale, and they're totally different creatures. Like one breathes fire, and the other is undersea, and
mhm.
like whales have wisdom and
Yes.
like they're majestic and stuff like that. So it was totally different. I think this is when we decided, you know what, we have a good gameplay and we have a gap in terms of narrative and what we want to give to the people, so that aligned together, and it's how we decided to go with this narrative. And in our game, we got all these mythical creatures, and we created our own original story, I would say, because at the end of the day, like finding resources for specific mythical creatures, they are limited. It's just you hear it in multiple stories and multiple writings, and there's a sentence about this from different book and stuff like that, like 1001 Night Book or Al Qazwini. They write some stories about them, but they're not in too specific, and like how old is he or how big he is and how does he look like. And so we did all of that in house, and we decided to give them a sense of what we the message we wanted to deliver, which is some sort of the balance in each one's life. And I think it's like with your parents, usually the father is more strict and kind of harsh on you to try to develop you and get you to be the best strong version of yourself. Meanwhile, the mother is like kind and she's soft on you. She just gives you whatever you want. You want candy, she gives it to you. So they have this balance at house, and then they're communicating together because they're like the good cop and the bad cop, right? So
Mhm.
that's exactly the message we're given. But in Bahamut and Falak, Bahamut is purely only can be the kind person. He can never be. He does not have it inside him to be harsh on you. And Falak is only harsh on you, and he can never be like kind to you and stuff like that. So that's where I don't want to spoil too much. I think I might be giving it up, but that's the story we're delivering for you guys. And yeah, that's how it got.
No, I think that's a good point you make and a good place to stop to not spoil, but there is that overall theming of the balance of light and dark. And I know I'm generalizing here, but another reason why I gravitate toward it is although it's different mythologies, it's definitely has a more Eastern mentality because half my culture is in China, Chinese, and we have very similar philosophies on maintaining a balance. Again, origins and types is different, but like we tend to really focus on there needs to be a coexistence of things. And
Yeah,
usually when something goes wrong, it's because there's too much of one and not the other. Whereas,
yeah,
Western stories tend to be, and that none is better than the other, I'm saying, but it's just good vanquishes evil in the end and they explode. I don't know.
yeah.
So I just think it's really nice, and I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing the game through to its end. So thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Um, we've already talked about gameplay, so I do want to jump around to one of my more fun questions. If your team was given a limitless budget and you are allowed a physical release of Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree, like a collector's edition, what would
Yeah.
you want to put in there other than the physical game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still something we're discussing even today internally with the team. But we would love to have figurine. As you can see, like I like to collect things, right?
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
wanted to have like Bahamut and like Falak, and they have this
Mhm.
shape, and then you in the middle as the main player, and you're kind of balancing between them, and you're kind of making up with them. Obviously that, and we'd like to have the soundtrack for the game. Obviously, you mentioned it's a
Yes.
Middle Eastern, and a lot of the music in game is like using Middle Eastern. What do we call it? Instruments, right?
Instruments, yeah.
So yeah, it's we want to have soundtrack, and we want to have the art book for the game. I think that would I would be the buyer for this. I'll be the first person to purchase that, but that would be amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that would definitely be a collector's edition I would buy. It would go right with all my other statues. I actually collect soundtracks. Like I recently got one back from Limited Run, like Chicory. I just got Chicory, and
Oh,
one of the reasons why I got it is because they have a soundtrack. I'm really big on video game music.
yeah.
I felt that I really liked what I heard when I was playing the demo. Now, granted, PAX was loud, so I probably didn't enjoy it to its fullest, but that's obviously not your game's fault. That's just being at a busy convention, but that's
Yeah.
amazing. So, well, keep having those discussions, keep me posted if plans arise.
Yeah, of course.
But just, yeah, to round things out, for those again that are newly discovering this, that are listening right now, who would you say your primary audience would be for this game? And what would you want them to walk away with after they play this game?
Yeah. So obviously, it's the casual gamers who are into new experiences, I would say, just and have fun during the experience. It's not frustrating. It's just one shot. One shot. You can finish the game in one sitting, and that's one of the beauty parts of the game. You can finish it in two, depending on how your day is going. But just so you know, if you leave and come back again, it's not frustrating. It's a
Mhm.
simple mechanic, right? So if you come back and play the game later on, you would not forget so much about the game, or you would forget how to play the game, because it's always simple to catch on
Mm,
where you left the game at. So that's great. So it's purely casual gamers. And
mm.
what I like for them to have after playing the game, I mean, I hope they enjoy it, right? but
Yes.
but yeah, I hope that the message was clear, because it's also one part of it's a core part of the game. We wanted to have this message to be delivered, that everyone is have to have this inner balance in their lives. So I hope this is delivered throughout their experience with the game. But yeah.
Right. Excellent. And you yourself, what are you most proud of in this product?
Uh, Interesting. I'm proud of like most of it, all of it. Mostly proud of the team that worked on the game, and also myself working with the team on this. Obviously, uh, like everyone wants to make games. Everyone is doing games, but like I think everyone needs to be proud if they have a game out there in the market, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication from the developer. So if you're a developer and you have games out there, I'm proud of you. If you're a developer who are still working on your game, I want you to make it out, and I would love to play your games as well. And yeah, I mean, you should be proud of what you're doing, and just don't be too worried about what people say about you or your game. Just put it out there and have fun. You're doing it for yourself first, and then you're doing it for others later.
That's such a positive message. See, I wasn't sure if I should ask that question. I'm glad I did. And I hope everyone who hears it is inspired. I mean, heck, I might even have my son listen to this. He's still only 9, don't get me wrong, but he's like working on the kid programs because he wants to make a
Yeah,
game so much. And he's just like, "Oh, I only have like 3 people who played it." I'm like, "That's because 'cause you're on this tiny program that's only used in schools in like a certain part of the country. Like,
Yeah,
focus on the creating portion." And I also told him like, "It's not easy." We might think, "Oh,
it
I
is.
make a video game, it's just kid stuff." No, it requires hard work and time and detail.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's always remember you're doing it for yourself, and as long as you're happy with it, obviously that's all that matters. And you're growing, right? It's baby steps, right? It's your first game, but then you'll do the second one, and you'll learn more to do your third one. As long as you keep doing it, I think that's what matters. I mean, why would you get into game development unless that's the case, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, thank you. Remember, everyone, Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree is out on Steam, so go check it out. Muslim, are you able to tell me, or do you know if there's any plans to have any console release, or are we sticking with Steam for now?
Yeah, of course. So we're working on porting right now. So we are planning to have a console release on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. I'm not sure about the Nintendo Switch 2 yet, but but yeah, I mean, obviously the first one, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, and it should
oh,
be out like
awesome.
within maybe 3 months from now. I don't know.
All right. Well, I definitely want to be in touch with your team. I sincerely would love to help provide news coverage and updates for that as things
Yeah.
progress. Before we say our final goodbyes, try not to fall asleep. I just have to do my housekeeping. I'm really sorry. Um, if you want to support the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network at a tier that's right for you, earning you perks such as early ad-free access to this and other podcasts, exclusive access to spotlight interview access threads, voting rights on Boss Rush Book Club, and more. So that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. But as always, your listenership and viewership is always enough for us. Remember, you can to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Please consider leaving us a rating and review. If you're on YouTube, do that thing where you hit the subscribe button and thumbs up and all that stuff that I am obligated to tell you all. Last but not least, we still have our merch over at T Public with over 50 designs to represent your favorite shows and more. Last but not least, always feel free to check out all of our content, reviews, articles, and more on bossrush.net. I am a copy editor and senior writer for the site. Our team did attend PAX East and covered many games, including this one. And I believe we are sending a crew out to PAX West as well in the coming months. So, with that being said, Musla, thank you very much for joining me and talking about your game.
Of
Congratulations
course.
again.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and thank you everyone who is listening or watching to this episode of the Boss Rush Spotlight podcast, the interview series for the Boss Rush Network. Thank you and take care, everyone.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, Retro Stoy, and Christian S. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.